It's rough, it's tough, it's full of mud right now. The Peugeot Landtrek double cab bakkie. Launched not that long ago in South Africa. We were on the launch drive. You saw me driving it. You saw me 4x4ing in the 4x4 version as well. But this is the 4x2. Same engine, same gearbox, just not with the four-wheel drive. But let me tell you one thing. If you have a look at the mud, you have a look at the way it's covered in mud right now, let me tell you, this thing can handle a dirt road pretty well. It can handle sand, it can handle mud, it can handle all those things. So I'm not worried about the fact that I don't have 4x4 because it's done the job for me. You got a nice side step over here, jumping up if you need it. It always helps. You got all those sort of features. You got roof racks up top as well. They all make a big difference. And when we bring the camera over here, you'll see a bit of water on the back there, but nice space in the back seat as well. Because the Landtrek is a leisure double cab. It's a comfortable, smooth, really good bakkie for the family, for excursions, for the adventurer, for anybody like that. You can see this massive rollover bar you got on the back over here. It's features like that that make you realize what this bakkie is all about. Tailgate over here. You can see we've got a nice load on the back. That's what counts. Sporting water for Gush Valley, our sponsors, because we're on the Gush Valley farm, of course, you may have noticed. That's where we bring bakkies. And we've got a nice load of water on the back. But look at this nice big step over here that I've got when I want to get up to the back as well, because it gives me the possibility to just do this and climb up if I want to, and I can get into the back without dropping the tailgate. It doesn't matter how I do it. It's not important. And it certainly does the job in every respect. The Landtrek, of course, is powered by a 4-cylinder 1.9 litre turbo diesel engine, putting out 110 kilowatts, 340 newton meters. And lots of people say that's not really enough. Well, let me just tell you, I'm on it to the farm. 200 odd Ks, including 60 Ks of dirt road, mud, etc., which is why it's looking like it is right now. And it handles it perfectly. There's enough power as far as I'm concerned. And I'm showing 8.2 litres per 100 for the journey, which is perfectly acceptable and definitely in the lower end when it comes to double cab diesel bakkies. So I'm pretty happy with that feature as well. We'll see it on the road, we'll see it inside, you'll check it all out. On the road, the point of this car is the Landtrek is it's smooth, it's very comfortable. It's more than adequate with its 110 kilowatts. It really does handle, and this is a very bad piece of, it is tar, but it's a bad piece of tar road on a section out in the farms near Grootmariko. So you can't even count this as really being a great piece of road in any way whatsoever. So we won't worry about that. But I think it just shows you we're hitting potholes that have just been filled, for example, and you can see it really just takes it in its stride. And it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's everything else that I can possibly want. So let's just see what the road really is going to show us, and let's see if I can get it to do that quickly. And you can see the sort of road we're on and the sort of terrain we're traveling on, and it's certainly not the most comfortable I've ever encountered. But potholes, as I said, that have been filled in, but it's beautiful. I'm in the country. That is what life is about as far as I'm concerned. Driving along on the road, out in the country, running at 8.2 litres per 100 as well, which I'm really impressed by. 6-speed automatic gearbox is smooth, it's easy. I've had it in eco mode a lot of this trip just because it's that kind of trip and that kind of road, and I really see no need for anything else along the way. So why not just be comfortable and enjoy and relax? I think that's far more important, and that's just really the way I want to drive and want to be when I'm out in the countryside.
Turn right.
And when I'm not being interrupted by Android Auto, of course, giving me navigation instructions, which I'm actually going to totally and utterly ignore in any case. But that's beside the point. That's what navigations are for you to ignore them and have a bit more fun along the way.
Turn right.
So the point is, with 700 plus minus kilo, 650 to 700 kilos on the back, which I don't think anybody else ever tests a load on the back of a bakkie, but we do. But what I want to show you is just have a look over here. You can see with this load, your wheel arch clearance is still very, very good. You've still got plenty clearance on the rear wheels, and that is the fact that counts when you want to know whether you can take a load on the back of a bakkie or not. Well, it's quite obvious that winter is approaching as we get into the vehicle on a cold, high-felt morning, and you can see all the windows are misted up. Obviously, it's easy enough to do something about it, but just showing you how the weather changes and how the seasons change, of course. Let's look at the dashboard quickly. Well, we've done 910 kilometers on this test, more than usual, but we had the car a little bit longer than usual, and you can see 8.6 liters per 100 kilometers. And there's 113k still in the tank, so not bad at all. Interesting, the reserve light is already on with that much mileage still available in the tank. But of course you can do the usual scrolling through, and you can show short-term trip. Obviously that would be just since I started the engine now to show you what's going on, so ignore that completely. But you've of course got your multifunction steering wheel over here, you've got your cruise control buttons over there, you've got all the buttons you would expect. And those are the important ones, of course, and those are the ones that make all the difference to you. You come across to the center over here, you've got a nice screen over here, which certainly does its bit and shows you everything that you may want along the way, and that's important to see and know. And Android Auto, which is a good feature, of course, on the vehicle. Music, radio, system settings over there. Let's have a look. That can give you all your different displays, your settings. You can even customize, as you can see, and you can go classic, sports, technology. It gives you all these various types of settings you can give with whatever you want, and you press over there and there you go. It's as simple as that, nice and easy. And you go over there, of course, again. Let's just go back and go home quickly, and it's gone straight to the radio for some reason, but not serious. I want to go to vehicle settings over there, and you can have a look, and you've got all your different settings you can possibly want over there as well. So it's nice and easy, pretty straightforward, works nicely. Come down below that. These are important features and functions that you want to have a look at now, of course, and your dual zone climate control, which is pretty advanced, I think, at this level, but nice to have again. Over here, let's have a look. Of course, you've got traction control over there. You've got the piano key buttons, as they like to call them. Locking and unlocking traction control. You've got a hill descent control over there if you want to use it. I haven't used it at all, even though we did do a fair bit of dirt road on this test as well. And then below over here, quite neatly placed, you've got a USB, and of course, that one over there is specifically for Android Auto, as I discovered when I tried to. That's the charging one, and that one's the one for Android Auto. So quite nicely done there as well. Come down over here, let's have a look. 6-speed automatic gearbox. It's generally pretty easy, pretty smooth, pretty comfortable, and you even have sport and eco buttons. And I want to mention the fuel consumption I achieved on the vehicle of 8.6, including, of course, that trip to the farm, so the open road, long road trip. And I used eco quite a lot, especially when I had that big load on the back. About 700 kilos on the back. The vehicle's rated for just under 1.1 tons, in fact. I think it's 1,085 kilos it's rated to carry. If you want to carry a big load on this, we put about 700 on. It cruised back nice and easily. The 110 kilowatts, 350 Newton meters that everybody keeps saying from the 1.9 diesel may be a bit low, although Peugeot did take pains at the launch to tell us that that is where the market's buying and where the sales are happening, so they pegged it right there. Well, it may have been that tiny bit sluggish on pull-off, but beyond that, I found no issues whatsoever. And I got back from that trip showing 8.5, have done the commuting bit since then, and a good few hundred kilometers of commuting duty, and still it's sitting on 8.6 liters per 100, which I'm pretty comfortable with, and I think that's a pretty decent number all round. I don't think anybody would complain about it. You have a look at the dash, everything. It's
Obviously hard plastics. I don't like doing these tapping tests, but just to show you. But it's well put together. There are no rattles, there are no squeaks. What is useful is nice big handles to lift yourself up on both driver and passenger side. And that helps. And in fact, even at the back, there are in front of the back door, the back seat, as well as above. So you've got enough handles to lift yourself up into this vehicle because, of course, it is big, it's high, it's everything else. The biggest question you're going to find, obviously, is do you go for two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive? The four-wheel drive in active spec, this is Allure spec as Peugeot call it, gives you a lot more. It gives you the four-wheel drive, first of all, but that can come with a fuel consumption penalty if you don't need it. And it also gives you, as we discovered on the launch, a really good camera system for off-roading that gives you all the different camera views, the overheads, etc., etc. And it gives you all of those for you to do some good off-roading. And check out our video from the launch and you'll see where I went off-road and how we used those cameras and how nicely they worked. You've still got the reverse camera, etc. over here that for when you want it, because this vehicle is big. It's, I'm told, the biggest of the double cabs available in South Africa right now in sheer dimensions. But it's up to you. You still get on this one, I've shown you the leather seats, or leather and cloth combination, with stitching, counter stitching, things like that. So you've got that. You still get auto on headlights, auto wipers. You get all those kind of features that you expect in a luxury vehicle. But you do lose out on a few features as well, can I put it this way, if you wanted to go to the top model. But of course, there's a price difference. And that's the difference you've got to decide. What are your needs? What are your requirements? And what you're going to use when you buy a vehicle? You're looking at 580,000 Rand as we're in this one right now. You're looking at 670,000 Rand if you go to the 4x4 with a bit more spec. That you've got to decide. I can't make that decision for you. But I can tell you this vehicle feels solid. It feels well put together. It certainly, as I say, there's 10,000 kilometers on the clock of this vehicle at the moment. And it certainly doesn't feel like it's shaking and rattling. And we took it down that 60-kilometer stretch of dirt road with some bad sections, which would expose rattles and shakes and everything else if they were there. When we did the dirt road, we did it unladen. So yes, the back end hopped around a tiny bit, but it was well controlled. It sat, it was planted, and it certainly maintained good speeds down the road on the better sections of dirt road. I had no issues with it whatsoever. The choices are always yours. Peugeot, although so many people don't remember, do have a history with bakkies. Way back to the 403s in the 1950s, the 404s through the 60s and 70s, etc., etc. And in South Africa, the 404 in particular was pretty popular, and there are still apparently many of them running around Africa, which has got to say something. So they do have a history, much as most people were shocked when they heard Peugeot were bringing a bakkie to the market. Not such a surprise, quite honestly. You also get a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer maintenance plan thrown in with this vehicle as well at the price. Important to know as well. Overall, I certainly think I put this vehicle through its paces, gave it a good test, and it's come out with pretty much, I would say, flying colors. The rest is up to you. For Motor Matters, I'm Alan R. See you next time.